Because what happens is you're simulating covenant, but you're living as if you're single. And you're wondering why it's causing craziness. If you wanted to do that, why'd you get into a covenant? The word covenant means there is no more independence. So you have to, going back to the scriptures, it's going to take faith. You're walking by faith and not by sight. Not how you've been. You're embracing your walk with Christ. Old things are passed away. The old independent life is being passed away. You're laying down your life, your independence, for your friend. You're really going all in. That's, we've talked about that before. Your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I totally agree to that. I think it boils down to a choice. Our life, really, if you think about everything in your life, it all boils down to a choice. You just have to choose to do what you really desire. You want to commit it, you want your commitment to be stronger. The only way you do that is to choose to not be as independent or as an individual. Because, you married to be with somebody in your life. You know what I mean? You didn't marry yourself. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of just making a choice. Just choosing to say, okay, you know what? I can't keep doing how I was. It should be different. If I was single, it should look different when I get married. It shouldn't be the same. Because sometimes people think that they're going to lose their selves in a marriage. You won't do that if you do it right. Sometimes I can see where you can get, the woman, especially independent women, they have reached a certain level of wealth or what have you. They don't want to lose that independence, and so you can still remain free in your marriage when you come together, but it should never be apart from your husband. So and you just have to just believe God that He could change your heart, because it's a heart matter. It's a matter of there's a trust issue there. Sometimes we don't trust, so we want to hold on. And then remember I talked about yesterday, pull out that just in case card. You know what I mean? Because you're independent. You got your back. You got your back. No, God should have your back. So, yeah.
You want to read it?
Is prayer the only option if I don't see exclusive or essential in my spouse's eyes?
Let me do that.
I can start it anyway,
Okay.
And then you. Okay, so is prayer the only option if I don't see exclusive and essential in my spouse's eyes? I would say no. It's not the only option. It's not like prayer is like a bad option. Prayer should be the first option if you really believe in the power of prayer. But I also believe that, there's some things that you can do, because sometimes, when if you don't feel good about yourself, you let yourself go. And so now you lose the very person who you really was before you got into marriage. So the man's been chasing you. He was chasing you before you got into marriage. You looked a certain way, you acted a certain way, and then when everything shifted, you just kind of fell apart and just gave up on yourself. So now he can't even find the very person that that really attracted him. And so sometimes we can do that. We can start, letting our hair go. We can, dress any kind of way. And now here's the thing: don't find yourself being like another woman. You know how sometimes, especially people that have gone through infidelity and stuff like that, they think, okay, I'll spice up my life to hopefully entice him back. But what he's going to end up getting is another woman. You don't want him to get another woman. You want him to get you. So what you do is, there was a good and a great you at one point. Before all that happened, there was a you that was very attractive to him at one point. Become that again. Start, paying attention to how you dress, how you look, how you talk, how you walk. Because that's what's going to attract him. You don't want him to, because you don't want to all of a sudden now you done shift into a prostitute because, you think that that's what your husband wants. He's just thirsty. Sometimes he don't even know what he's thirsty for. So it looks like he's gravitating to a prostitute look, but that's not really what he needs. So just be the best you. Go back to that you that you once was, that really was appealing, very attractive. Don't become a prostitute, whatever you do. I listened to some talk show and the woman was like, well, I wanted to keep my man, so I went and got these big old heels and, strutted around, got the little whip thing. And I mean, she was well, she took it to a whole nother level because she was, she had the little maid outfit on. And I mean, I'm like, you basically is giving him another woman, and you can't be another woman. You can only be you. So even the other woman's gonna get tired. You trying to play this other role of another one. That's gonna wear him. He gonna be like, guess what? He gonna be like, okay, what woman can I have today?
Tired with the maid. Switch up.
Right, yeah. Where's the nurse? Bring me the nurse outfit. So you want to watch that, as women, because we're already in competition. So we'll be trying to, he gonna feel me today, but it's not feeling you, it's feeling somebody else that you saw. You got an ideal. You wasn't creative enough to come within yourself and pour out what's in you to attract him.
Yeah, so agreeing with everything she said, and prayer is important, but open communication is important also. Mm-hmm. And the thing about open communication is through that process, you may have to grit your teeth and ask them what they see. What do they need, and where have you changed?
That's good.
That may be difficult to bear. It might be you, or you might find out that you never knew. Okay, put it this way. So it might be you. In that conversation, you might find out it was you, or you might find out that through that exchange that, maybe that person never stopped playing. Like when you come into a relationship, a lot of times you're not seeing the essential, not because the person doesn't love you, but they were so used to, in a lot of guys' case, guys have been so used to playing, once they conquered you, once they got you, they went back to playing. Because a lot in some relationships, the young lady is like, I'll do whatever it takes for my man, this, that, and the other. So you almost overkill, you become a mother. So, and they were used to being mothered. So now they're like, you got it, cool. You got that, cool. And now they, ESPN all day. Mm-hmm. So now you lose the person you have because you didn't give them a chance to show how much they valued you in the first place. So now you recognize you should be essential and exclusive, but you didn't allow yourself to be essential and exclusive through the process of getting to that point. So now you're almost trying to shock his system because he's like, I didn't know, is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Because I haven't had to do this throughout the relationship. You've been doing everything.
And almost like you now become the mother. So now you have a relationship that almost like you're married to your mother. How attractive is that going to be? I mean, really, when you think about it, you married your mother.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's important. It's tough because it goes back to what my wife was saying earlier. You got to trust God. Mm-hmm. So to allow somebody to love you without always have to throw out incentives and stuff. I mean, you got to trust God because a lot of times what you say on the inside is, if I don't do this, they might not love me. Exactly. They might not be the one. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you have to give people an opportunity to love you. You have to place a demand on what's in them already to love you. Mm-hmm. So include all that in the answer to that question. And this one, intercourse before marriage can only have, the person asked, I forgot to write the question down, but they asked, if you've had intercourse before marriage, because we talked about the value of waiting, and then we talked about, so when talking about the value of waiting, a person, of course, didn't wait, but they're married, so they says, well, if you had intercourse before marriage and you end up marrying that particular person, does it have a negative effect? And the key is you can keep yourself cleansed. If you keep yourself, intercourse before marriage can have a negative effect if you don't repent. And the goal is to keep yourself cleansed with the blood and don't leave communion with God. So intercourse before marriage has consequences that may just create an initial bigger test or a little extra foundational work, but fulfillment is worth it. But the key to everything is repenting and staying in communion with God. So it won't have as much of an effect. But if you just, once again, if you're in denial and you keep making excuses for stuff, you're boxing out grace, and you don't want to box out grace. So that's a quick version answer to that question.
Yeah, and I think I took this question, I thought of it differently. I thought of it like the person is actually in a courtship process, and they end up having sex, but they are eventually going to get married. Okay, is that going to have a negative, basically a negative effect? And my thing is, if you are in that situation where you've already had sex before marriage, it's nothing wrong with just stopping where you're at and doing it right from there. You know what I mean? We've had a couple who actually agreed. They at one point, did it, and then they agreed moving forward they wouldn't do it. And that has a lot of weight. That is huge right there, because I would think that that's harder once you've already engaged, and then now you what does that say to the woman, man? That is powerful. That he's willing to wait even after he's already crossed that bridge there. So I think just understanding that you can reset. You can reset no matter what. It doesn't have to be like, oh, well, I missed that boat. No, you can reset where you're at, just, moving forward.
That's great. All right, let's hit these questions right here. So when a person exhibits a behavior that is not Christ, like before you are married, how should you handle that? Number one, should you confront it? Two, do I expect them to change? And number three, do I walk away from it all?
I would say the first thing you do is you confront it. You definitely need to confront it, because you want to know when you're in a courtship process, that's a time that you can really find out, where is that person? You want to locate where they are, because wherever they are, if he's not challenged or she's not challenged where they are, well, where they are is you're going to end up going where they are. You're going to be with that type of situation. So you want to make sure that you talk it out. You challenge that person, because, and then the next part of that question is, when are you? Let's see.
No, we're still on the question.
Okay. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Do you expect them to change? Okay, so the first one is, should I confront it? Yes, you should. You should definitely confront it. The second one is, do I expect them to change? Yes, you should. Is the second one. You talk it out, though. You're actually talking it out. You don't want to, whatever you do, you don't want to let that go.
What you said about locate them, let you know they'll change.
Repeat that. Say that again.
Well, my wife said first you confront them to locate them, because you want to know where they're at. But once you know where they're at, that will encourage you whether or not they'll change or not, because you're locating. You're locating them. So you're like, oh, this fool ain't changing. Everything is subject to change, but you may locate them and realize they're in denial. They don't want to embrace the truth. This is something that they just have not taken responsibility for, and don't look at taking responsibility for it. Then that takes you to number three.
Do I walk away from it all?
Yeah. So the first one actually helps with the second and third one.
And that courtship process is so important, because that's the time that you really assess whether or not it is somebody that you feel comfortable moving forward with. Because if you just deny things that's so bright red, then you're only setting yourselves up for failure. You will be frustrated, and you'll be setting yourselves up for failure. So
what you allow today, you live with tomorrow.